Hi everybody, I'm Lisa Young Sutton and this is the Moon card video. I think this is the most confusing card in the deck for new learners because of the variety of ways it's used by different readers. I mean, if you look at various books, websites, and those little white books that come with your decks, you're going to see everything from intuition to dreams to romance to illusion. And I discuss all of these topics in my book, where the Moon card got more pages than any other card. But in this video, I'm going to address the most common ways this card is viewed, but primarily what it means in the original system, because that's what I'm all about. All right, so the core function of this card is reflection, as in how our light is reflected back to us from others. After all, the moon is not actually a luminary, but a planet that reflects light. It does not produce it. You can also call the moon the card of recognition, as its placement indicates how we're being recognized for our achievements or personal qualities. It speaks of our identities and how we fit in with or stand out from others. This is also the card of attraction, because what we put out determines what we attract. And this makes it an important card in our spiritual advice and self-care readings. I mean, do you know what you are attracting? Go stand in front of the mirror and frown. What image is reflected back to you? A smile is never going to be reflected back to you unless you send one out first. Okay, so when well placed, the moon indicates respect and prestige. I love that word. Prestige describes the moon perfectly. Prestige is defined as the widespread respect and admiration felt for someone or something on the basis of a perception of their achievements or quality. That is the moon. When this card is shining on ours, we're being honored by others, or we're being bestowed with certain privileges. It's the card that describes our social standing, the impression we're making on others, and how we're being perceived. Its core energy is positive. When you see this card, consider words and phrases such as social standing, recognition, reputation, appreciation and respect, public status, prestige, accolades, being honored, celebrity and fame, as in you have risen, achievements, awards, attention, admiration, validation, regard, distinction, or being bestowed with certain privileges. It will represent one's career or what one is known for if you choose it for your work card. It is my work card. It's the card of perception, image, and images, including self-image, self-identity, self-esteem rather, identity, and pride. It's also the card of reflection, attraction, and captivation. Now let's briefly discuss how some common associations for this card fit in with its core function. Is it the card of intuition? Well, traditional readers will most likely choose the star for the idea of intuition because the star is our card of divine guidance, and that's exactly what intuition is. It's our inner voice, our inner guidance system. It's when we know things without using conscious reasoning. Just like I would never see the moon as intuition because it has nothing to do with the core function of the card, which is how we're being perceived. I mean, intuition is between you and your higher self and has nothing to do with others. So that is why it is no part of this card for me. It belongs to the star. All right, so is it the primary card of emotions? Well, emotions are feelings elicited by our thoughts, circumstances, and relations with others. So any card can bring forth emotions, but the card that best describes the idea of emotion is the heart. The heart is the card of love, passion, joy, and desire, all emotions, right? And when it's impacted by negative cards, it references negative emotions such as sadness, loneliness, or rejection. And humans have always connected emotions to the heart. We use phrases such as my heart swelled with joy or that broke my heart. And our emotions also have a direct effect on our physical hearts. When we're happy or excited, our hearts beat faster. When we're sad or in shock, our hearts beat slower. So for me, emotions belongs to the heart. All right. What's the moon's connection to romance? Well, romance is defined as the excitement and mystery associated with love, which places it under the umbrella of the heart card for me. But we will often use this word when the moon appears in answer to a love question, because it can be saying that the object of our desire is looking upon us favorably, right? So we can link that based on the context to romance. And if you consider the mystery aspect of romance, we can see a connection to the moon as the card of another's perception of us, which is always a mystery, right? No one can explain love. Love is blind, right? Also, the moon is associated with night, and night is considered mysterious and romantic. So there's another connection. So there are definitely connections to the moon and romance. All right, so descriptively, when we use this card as a descriptor and in descriptive readings, it can describe cycles, right, just as the ring can. It can describe dreams, sleep, and night, just as the star can. It will describe things that reflect, such as mirrors. And don't forget, the eyes are the mirrors of the soul. As well as anything with a lens, such as cameras, eyeglasses or contact lenses, or anything that reflects captured images to our eyes, such as photographs and movies, as well as the screens that allow us to perceive them, such as movie, TV, and computer screens. So, keep thinking about reflection and images. Okay, in describing a person, it can represent pride, one with a high regard for themselves, one who's distinctive and held in high esteem. They may be well known or famous or look like someone who is. They might be captivating, charming, and enchanting. Moon personalities crave the spotlight and need a lot of validation for everything they do. They crave praise and recognition. Occupations include public relations jobs or publicity agents who work to improve a company's image. In relation to identity and psyche, occupations include psychologists and therapists. Regarding the aspect of night, the moon can refer to night workers, sleep therapists, or somnologists, or onerologists, which are people who study dreams. That must be wild, huh? Or bed and mattress designers, makers, or salespeople, or a movie star. All right, now in a daily draw, when the moon appears in your dailies, it's often referencing being seen favorably or in a new light by others. I mean, the general rule for daily draws is this: because you're typically not asking a question, a specific question, right? You don't have a context more than, what is this day going to bring? So you're looking for any life area cards that may appear. And then you want to see how the other cards describe that life area card. And if the moon is your work card, well, then appearing in your daily is probably saying something about your job or career. Also consider your current life circumstances as well as what you're thinking about when you drew those cards to find the theme of your daily draw. All right, in advice readings, consider how what you are planning will make you look to others, right? The moon can tell you that others will be looking upon you favorably, so now's the time to put yourself out there. It may be referencing your job or business if it's your work card, so see what the advice the other cards are offering regarding work. The advice may be to get over your fear of being seen, known, heard, or noticed. People who are more comfortable following the crowd are often uncomfortable standing out from the crowd. But the moon says, you did not come here to fit in. You came here to stand out. So get to it. All right. In a work reading, while the anchor will show that your job is stable and safe, the moon will indicate promotions or advancement, as it shows that you're being noticed or highly regarded. The moon can also refer to advertising and publicity as you attempt to get others to recognize your business. Now, if you're asking a spiritual or self-care question, the moon may suggest that you're on a path of spiritual awakening or being led to a spiritual career. It may reference your dreams, so pay attention to them. It could be drawing your attention to how you're perceiving yourself. I mean, do you love yourself unconditionally, which means that you always have your own back, or always allow the love and well-being of the universe to flow to and through you, regardless of the conditions that surround you. That is what unconditional love is, right? Or unconditional happiness. Like, you do not need perfect conditions, which you cannot control, conditions outside of yourself, right? And if you don't need them to be perfect to be happy, well, you are sitting pretty. Okay? So in other words, is your happiness dependent upon the recognition of others? Now here's a bit from my book. Could it be that our idea of recognition from others is just an illusion? Is it lunacy? Isn't what's inside of us and how we see ourselves most important? That's all talking about the moon. Okay, as the card of validation, which is most often seen as coming from other humans in a spiritual or advice reading, it can refer to the validation of your higher self or authentic self, or validation from the universe, right? Especially when that star card is there too. I mean, for this type of question, when it lands directly below your card, it can reference self-validation. All right, in a relationship reading, the moon represents being seen in a favorable light and can indicate attraction. It often shows that there's chemistry between you. When far or surrounded by problematic cards, it may say that the other person just does not get you. All right, in health readings, it may describe a doctor or hospital who is well respected, well acclaimed. As it pertains to our identity and self-confidence, it may be describing a patient who's too proud to ask for help, or one who's ashamed of a health condition and tries to hide it, or one who suffers from dysmorphia. If it's your work card with the tree, the health card, right, it can relate to health professions as well as work-related injuries, disorders, or diseases contracted at work. Anatomically, it relates to female hormones, the uterus, and the menstrual cycle. And as it relates to night, the moon can refer to sleep disorders in a health reading. All right, so looking at the lovely cards on the table, we have a bunch of beautiful moon cards, and the fairy tale fortune card says, the moon, and honor comes to you, and others see your light. Right on, Liz Dean. All right. What does the verse card have to say? When the friendly moon shines down at you from close upon your shores, he is announcing a nice career, glory, and honor are to be yours. So, you know, it gets it all in there. It talks about you want the moon shining down on you from close upon your shores, so you want it close, preferably above. And it even mentions career and glory and honor, right? Love it. Okay, and oh, you'll see a new card here. I'm going to be doing a walkthrough with this deck this week. This is the Cookie Muse Lenormand by our lovely Jody Goodman. And this is an adorable deck. I'm not going to show you now. As I said, I'm going to do a walkthrough on it. But, you know, I'll tell you, when I first looked through the cards, and they're all so cute, but I saw the moon and I was like, what is that black blob there? So then I put my glasses on and I said, oh, it's a kitty cat. And I kind of had an idea of why she put the cat there, but I thought, okay, as a traditional reader, I am seeing that cat as this. If you can earn the respect of your cat, what more validation do you need? Because it's not easy to be respected by a cat. So I thought that's a perfect reminder of what this card means to a traditional reader. There you go. Okay. I'm just going to compare it to a few cards, because this is really not a card that can be confused with too many others. Using my Lenormand for this. Okay, so we can compare it to the sun, because the moon represents night, as does the star, right? I got the star here too. So we have two night cards when we're using them descriptively. These are both night cards. This is our day card, right? But we can also compare the moon to the sun, because the sun stands for awareness of tangible or obvious things, right? What's obviously physically around us, right? While the moon is nothing more than our perception of things or others, how others are perceiving us. It's the card of perceptions, right? Whereas this is more the card of things that are obvious, of awareness, right? Okay, we can compare it to the bouquet. Because while the moon represents the recognition we receive from others, the bouquet is something offered to us because of that recognition. And you're going to see that in the grand tableau. I'm going to stick under your noses, I think, right now, right? Yeah, I am. Here it comes. Okay, excuse me, my candalia. Mi candalia. Okay. Oops. Come here, let's see. Oh, look at that. It's right in there. I think we can see that. Everything in there. Yep, I'm using my Petit Lenormand, one of my favorite mini decks. I think I might just use this deck more than any other. Okay, what does the plot have to say? Well, the moon is a sign of great honors, fortune, and fame if the card lies to the side of the person, right? So if it's near, it's the sign of great honors, fortune, and fame. But if distant, it means grief and misery. So obviously you want it close to your card. In the original game, the Game of Hope, I described this in detail in the people video, the people card video, Lady and Man. So check that out. But basically in the game, landing on space 29 sends you ahead to the moon. And landing on space 28, the man, sends you ahead to the sun. Okay, the original coffee ground meanings. Favorably placed, the moon indicates high honors, good fortune on water and land, and says that sadness will soon pass. That good fortune on water and land, right there, makes me think of, work, right? How the moon relates to work. Unfavorably placed indicates overall sadness. Again, you don't want it far. All right, it's got no directional cue, and it is part of the celestial cluster along with the star and sun. And I believe in both the star and sun videos, I describe this cluster in detail, but I also describe it in detail in the Grand Tableau video of the Core Foundation series. Check my playlists on this channel for all of my 100+ videos. All right, so in the method of distance, basically, when it's near, especially above you, it shows that you're being recognized, noticed, appreciated, valued, and respected. This placement also can indicate the tangible rewards of being honored. So check the cards touching it, because I'm going to show you that in this GT right now. This was a GT for a man, and he only was asking about work. So this whole spread is about work for him. Okay, so what we can see here is he's got the moon directly above him. So he's being honored, he's being recognized. And you can add to that this is my work card. So where is he being honored and recognized? Through his job. Okay, the tower underneath then to me represented the corporation that he's worked for a very long time and where he is well established. Now, look at the cards flanking him. He has the fish and he has the ship. So he's obviously being offered something because of his recognition, and he's being recognized for his integrity and honesty. That's the lily, right? I say he's being offered something because that's the bouquet. So what could he be offered? Well, money, a pay raise, right? More business, yeah. And possibly this could be a trip, but it could be a company car. And I saw that right away because the key underneath of it. I mean, the ship is my card for vehicles, and it's got the key right here. So, yeah. Of course, we have the anchor here, too. So, maybe he got a trip and a car. Wow, I want his job. Anyway. Okay, so I was recently asked, how do we know if someone is receiving recognition at work if the work is your work card? Because the moon can't fall to describe the moon? So someone just recently asked me that. And the answer is simple, really. It's by the proximity to the seeker, its position above or below as well, and also the rest of the celestial cluster, and where's the financial cluster, where's the gang of adversaries, right? And all of the other positive and negative cards around the seeker and around the moon, right? All of this will tell you how you're being recognized, okay? And you can see how I'm reading this both ways, because it is my work card, right? And because of its placement, it is the card of recognition, and because of its placement, it tells me he's being honored, right? But it's also my work card, so it tells me, because it's touching him, and just all the cards around it as it describes work, it tells me that he's being recognized at work. Okay, I hope I said that clearly. All right. Now, when the moon is out of reach, it says you're being overlooked. Recognition, popularity, and appreciation for one's personality or performance or achievements are all out of reach, right? Your talent and efforts aren't being noticed. Maybe you're not receiving social media likes. You're not getting any gold stars. You're not getting any pats on the back, no compliments. And of course, this has an influence on other life areas. So check all of your life area cards to see if they can explain why the moon is so far away, especially if it's far and under. I mean, if you have the entire celestial cluster far and under, the person is, you can pretty much be sure that there's something serious going on with that person. It pretty much speaks of rejection by society and dishonor, or personal shame and lack of pride, right? So when the celestial cluster is unfavorably placed, if it is all far, and especially far and under, I immediately look for that interpersonal cluster, which is the child, the dog, and the garden. And he's got two of them in his comfort zone, but he has the whole celestial card cluster well positioned, so he doesn't even need this. But if the star, the sun, and the moon were all under him and far away, I would look for these three interpersonal cards, because I'd want at least one of them to be close, because that would tell me that at least those closest to him are there to support him, even though everyone else is ignoring him, right? And then, you look for the other clusters too. I mean, in this guy's reading, because I was seeing the celestial cluster so favorably placed, and I could see that he was being honored at work, I immediately looked for the financial cluster, which is the ship, the fish, and the anchor. And I was like, well, they're all touching him too, right? So that's how I knew. You see how I'm putting all this together? That's how I knew he was going to get financial rewards too, right? He's being honored at work. He's being offered financial, tangible rewards. Boop, boop, boop. All right. And of course, the other thing I look for, again, if that celestial cluster was all far and under him, I would look to see where that gang of adversaries is. Because if some of them are near, it could say that your reputation is at risk, right? And what is the gang of adversaries? It's the snake, the fox, the mountain, and the mice. So does he have any of them? Snake, fox, mountain and mice. No, look, he doesn't have any in his comfort zone. He's sitting pretty, this guy. Okay. All right. That's it for the moon, my friends. Thanks for watching, as always. Don't forget to like and share and thank me if you are so inclined. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.